It's on the list. Hello, I'm Orestria, and this is The List. What is The List? Well, I have a list on my computer of over 150 things, at time of recording, that I want to watch. It's almost entirely anime, but there are some Western movies and other things on there too. There's a good chance if you talk to me about something, especially anime, that I'll tell you it's on the list. This series is to highlight my progress through the list and share my thoughts on things when I finally have the time to watch them. Let's go! Today we're crossing Netflix's Castlevania off the list. 1. I told you there were things other than just anime on the list. In case you're watching this video from the future, this video is up to Season 3. Also, I have not played the games. Sorry. As such, there is going to be no discussion about how the show relates to the games or any game canon. Cool? Cool. The Netflix Castlevania series is an animation intended for adults, which is always refreshing to see come from an English-speaking country. It's worth noting that the show has taken the fact that it's made for adults to heart, and it's heavy on the gore and the violence. You're going to see head smashed, eyeballs, brains, intestines, maiming, decapitation. So if that's not up your alley, just avoid this show. There were times where it went over my personal threshold of what I feel comfortable with seeing, although for me that was relatively few and far between. There are a lot of bad people in this show, so there's a lot of treachery, murder, betrayal, and in Season 3 there's also nudity and sexual content that aren't really present in the first 2 seasons, and It's not the fun kind of sex. Our story starts when some religious fanatics think that Dracula's wife is a witch. She isn't, for the record. She's a human, a doctor, and a woman of science. But they burn her at the stake. This was not a good life choice.
I am Vlad Dracula Tepesh. You will tell me why this thing has happened to my wife.
Dracula then decides that all of humanity does not deserve to live. He gathers a bunch of vampires and other allies, as well as an army of night creatures. Just demonic things. And sets them loose on the world, starting with the city where his wife was killed and the country where she was killed. And that's the first episode. We follow Trevor Belmont, the last of the once great Belmont family. Yeah, in this world, religious fanatics both excommunicated the premier monster and vampire fighting family and pissed off the world's strongest vampire. Trevor is a drunk asshole, and he's great.
Sorry, can I get my ale? It's just that I think I'm sobering up.
His life has sucked so hard that the only thing that really comes natural to him anymore is drinking and fighting night creatures. But during the course of the show, he meets allies that make him care about life again. And probably the most important of these allies is Sypha. She's part of a cult, religious order, whatever, called the Speakers. They believe in an oral history of the world and in taking care of people, like actually taking care of the poor and stuff like that. They're basically traveling nomads. And apparently they also have magic.
I am a speaker and a scholar of magic. I serve no demon and I do no evil.
They speak the stories of the world, that's why they're called speakers. It feels like in this show that the speakers are actually more highly respected than the Christian church. maybe not amongst like the general populace, but in the eyes of people who are important in the story. In case it's not obvious yet, the organized religion of the church is not really seen in a good light in this show. Sypha's interesting because at first glance, you might think, oh, there's the token girl. We have 3 main heroes and 1 is a girl, because you gotta have a girl, right? But when I was watching the show, she didn't really feel that way to me. I think part of it is because there are a few episodes of just her and Trevor before they get their third ally. So pretty much in the whole show, her and Trevor kind of feel like a pair or unit, particularly in the third season. And Alucard ends up feeling more like the third wheel. I also like that she was brave and dedicated and gung-ho about saving people to the point where she dragged Trevor out of his apathy. Like, he would not be a hero if not for her. But she's also not a damsel in distress. Sure, the first thing he does is rescue her, but he rescues her because, like, she got in trouble because of active decisions she made. And she is arguably stronger than Trevor. I think she's stronger than Trevor for sure. He has more experience with fighting night creatures, but I would say she's the more powerful one. Another reason it never really felt like she was a token female character is because she's not the only strong female character in the show. We have Carmilla. Carmilla, who explicitly complains about men and them being stupid, like their masculinity and their views of the world being stupid. Despite Dracula being our antagonist, he spends most of the time being very passive. He's not aggressively pursuing things. The one aggressively pursuing things is Carmilla. There's a lot of bad guy vision in this show, and most of it is to show Carmilla and her scheming. She has a lot of really great lines in the show as well.
Really? How hard can it be to find Godbrand of all people? There has to be a limited number of things in this castle that he can drink, sleep under, or attempt to have sex with.
Overall, the villains in the show are actually quite interesting, especially the Forge Masters. I feel like that since I'm intending this to be a relatively unspoilery review of the show, I don't really feel like I can talk much about the Forge Masters here. Back to the good guys. Our third hero is Alucard, Dracula's son. Despite his mom being killed and his dad planning on, killing everyone, his angst level is reasonable. He is very lonely, but that's gonna happen when you're pretty much the only one of your kind. And it does make him kind of standoffish, but he's not completely pushing people away, and he is here to save the world and defend humanity. And god damn if his fighting style isn't super fun to watch. This show has a lot of strengths. It's atmospheric and well animated. Overall, I think the characters are well written and consistent, and there's a lot of fun banter and fun bickering.
I was right about you the first time, you know? You are rude.
I've been called worse.
Oh, I'm just getting started.
But the fights in particular are worth highlighting. They are well choreographed to the point where, like, anything that's important in the fight, you know where it is. You know who's involved, you know where they're at. If there's an important goal or terrain involved, you know where it is. The fights are well animated, and our different characters also have very different fighting styles. So it's just really fucking fun to watch. It's really badass. Overall, I think the show has a good mix of action, comedy, and horror. The horror is almost all gore, which is perfect for me because I don't like things that are actually going to scare me. I'm mostly okay with gore. As for weaknesses, it's not the world's most original plot. I don't think that's a big deal. Every story has been told. So a good presentation is really what's important. So this isn't the show for you if what you're really searching for are like amazing twists and turns in the plot. But I'm not trying to say that the plot is weak, although maybe there are some places where it feels like it's standing still a little. Best boy, I'm going to give best boy to Trevor. He has more of an arc than Alucard. Dracula is pretty awesome at first, but spends a lot of the series in a state of complete apathy. The Forge Masters, I'd like to see more of their stories before I make any final decisions there. If I had to make a runner-up, I'd probably be the captain. I don't give a fuck that he was only in like 2 episodes. He was awesome.
I believe I will kill you and all your men and take it.
You could. You surely could. But if you did all that murdering and taking, who would be left to sail it?
Trevor fits pretty well in a trope of like a reluctant asshole hero, but I think that, again, it's presented well, it's done well, so if you enjoy that kind of character, you'll enjoy Trevor. For Best Girl, I'm going with Sypha. This is crazy, I'm going with like the 2 main characters. Wow. Up to season 2, episode 7, I probably would have gone with Carmilla. But in my opinion, she did some dumb shit after that. Hashtag justice for Hector. Back to Sypha. Sypha is brave and she pursues what she thinks is right. And by the end of season 3, I think she might be the strongest of our protagonists. I wouldn't even say that she's gotten more powerful. It just feels like she's increasingly confident in her abilities. And because her abilities are magic, there's a point where, like, how creative are you with it? How can you figure out different ways of using your magic? So that's where, like, her power comes from. Once again, I'm going to get into best scene after the conclusion. I'm increasingly thinking that that just makes the most sense because it's going to be the most spoilery part of any one of these videos. Conclusion. If you like gory action, you should probably try this show. I think it's pretty good overall. The show particularly shines in climactic episodes. Things like Season 1, Episode 4, Season 2, Episode 7, the last 2 episodes of Season 3. They're really spectacular. And that's what this show excels at, a spectacle. There's a nice mix of characters, some very modern sensibilities that appeal to me, and the first season is only 4 episodes, so go ahead and see if you like it. This is not an anime, so I can't put it on my anime list of anime. But if it was on Mal, I would give this an 8 out of 10. It's an above average show. It appeals to me overall. I like the vampires, the gothiness, the bloodbaths, and the cool action. The best scene. The best scene. Is it a cop-out if I call all of Season 2, Episode 7 the best scene? Fuck. Probably that's a fucking cop-out. Alright, so, since that's a cop-out, I'm going to give you a bonus scene. This is not what I would call the best scene because I hope to never watch this again. But it's a standout scene because this is a scene that I can't stop thinking about. It's been a couple weeks since I saw it and I'm still kind of shook about it. But it is major spoilers for Season 3. So, majorly spoiling part of Season 3 of Castlevania in 3, 2, 1. Okay. What the Japanese siblings did to Alucard has me so fucked up. Like, so they decide that there's no way he's actually as nice as he's being, which he is, and that he must be hiding stuff from them, which he isn't. Admittedly, he's probably taking his time teaching them because he's excited to have friends again. So they decide they're going to kill him. I guess to them, they're preemptively killing him before he can betray them. I get it. I feel for them. They've traveled across, like, an entire continent in this fucked up world, in this show, where almost everyone is an asshole. They say they've been through some shit. I believe them. But knowing that Alucard only meant well and he's willing to give them all of the knowledge of humanity across history and he's almost rewarded with death, like, damn, show. And that's not all. They also decide decide that he deserves a reward for killing Dracula. So they decide that before they kill him, they're going to fuck him. Literal threesome. They just, like, surprise him in bed and sex with him. Then they capture him, and he has to kill them in order to save himself. And I just feel so fucking bad for Alucard. Like, I'm worried that this is gonna fuck him up so much that he's gonna go through his father's footsteps, which they kind of foreshadowed with him putting them on pikes. And I can't stop thinking about how fucked up it is and all the implications and worrying about what's gonna happen next with Alucard. Ugh. So, yeah. I don't want to call it the best scene, because it's not enjoyable, and I enjoying my entertainment means a lot to me. But it is a powerful scene for sure. And uncomfortable. Alright. You can like this video, subscribe for more, see what I cross off the list next. Follow me on twitter.com/Orestria, or come talk to me at the Tales from My D&D campaign Discord. See you next time. Bye-bye.